Y'all ready?
Yeah, you think
Yep.
we have most people?
Yeah, I'd like to welcome Kristen Orrig and Beth Girardi, who are Master Counselors, and they're going to give us a briefing on the Master Counselor program and how to apply if you're interested. So take it away.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm Kristen. Somehow, Beth, your name got changed to Kristen Orig on my screen, but
Yeah, I see that. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how to fix it either, and I don't want to mess it up
I'm
here.
not even going to try because I've already shared too many pieces of my screen. But I'm going to try to change slides now,
See what I
and
can do here.
it worked before.
There we go.
But oh, there's my arrow. All right, sorry. Believe it or not, this is for all the participants. This is the first time I'm actually doing like a full Zoom presentation. So I thank you in advance for your patience. So I'm from Long Island, and part of the Long Island region of the Master Counselor Program. And I'll let Oh, and I also work at Northport High School. So I'm at the high school level working with grades 9 through 12. And I'll let Beth introduce herself.
I'm Beth Girardi. I'm from the Western New York region, which is like from Niagara Falls down to Jamestown and a little bit to the east. I am a high school counselor at Gowanda High School. I've been there 24 years, and this is my 28th year as a counselor and 34th year in education. So
Wow,
on the I know I'm on the.
impressive.
I know. I think I'm getting ready to. I don't know. The
But
retirements, I'm starting to look at that. I pulled up my retirement account yesterday for the first time and thought, it's not that far away.
but you're like such a wealth of knowledge. I feel like you can't go anywhere
Well, that's my plug
then.
for the Master Counselor program because, it just feeds into that desire for knowledge.
Yes, yes, for sure. No matter where you are, I think in your career. So most of our master counselor meetings, start with like an expectation setting. So, we thought that we would start this meeting the same way. So please feel free to ask questions. Bob is being kind enough to monitor the chat for us, so you can put it in the chat. You can raise your hand. Um, but the post-its that you see there are just some of kind of our group protocols, and I have definitely found that it's just such a welcoming, lovely group, and we're all counselors. So I feel like group expectations are just kind of like we all do it anyway, so it's just kind of reminder for us. um but would anyone mind putting in the chat like where's everybody from? Like maybe grade level and region, just so we can kind of see, or if you want to unmute and shout it out.
Or if you don't know what region you're in, put the county your school is in.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Southern Tier, Rochester,
Okay.
North Country Middle School. A lot of respect for that. Schenectady, New York City, Brooklyn.
Cool.
And anyone down by me?
See some Brooklyns.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there was a
Walt,
Long Island one that just popped up a second ago. It went too
oh,
fast for me to read it, though.
Walt Whitman High School. Hello,
Oh,
Mark.
cool.
I worked at Stimson. That's where I worked.
I saw a painted post. That's my Niska region.
It's over by Jamestown, right? Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, Southern Tier.
North, yeah. The Bronx.
Cool.
Cool. So it sounds like we have people from all over the state, which is awesome. And it's definitely one of the things that I love about the program, is how closely we get to work together with people from all over the state. So welcome everybody, and thank you, for coming out and being curious, because the program is just going to keep growing. So this is just a little bit about, the different regions. The master counselors are broken into regions just like the master teachers are. But the biggest difference is that we're a much smaller group. So uh, as of right now, we're about 75 counselors across New York State. Um, we work from kindergarten through 12th grade. And even though we're assigned to regions, we have one central director, and we have the opportunity to, all work together because there's so few of us, and we're all spread out. So, um, anything to add? Oops, I hit the next button. Sorry, Beth. Did you want to jump in on that one?
That's my favorite part of the Master Counselor program is getting to work with counselors from all over. Like Jenny and I, when we did this presentation, she's, downstate. And I'm like, wow, I never would have met you otherwise. Like, that's my favorite part. Not that I love my regional people too, but just the opportunity to network and to work on shared interests and projects with people
Yeah.
from all over the state is just awesome.
Yes, yes. And then I was just on one of the SUNY tours and with Jenny, and there just happened to be three other master counselors, and then we got to meet in person, and so that was very cool too, because then like you're building these connections, even though we're spread out, we do end up bumping into each other. So
For sure.
All right, I can't actually see the title of my slide, so I think this is what attracted us.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to read these. These are actually quotes that Beth and Jenny collected when they were doing their presentation at the NYSCA conference. So they're from, I think, the OG group of the first cohort of master counselors. But I will speak for me. I was nervous about the amount of hours and that requirement of 50 hours a year. That just sounded like a lot to me. My kids are 11 and 13, so I'm like full on, I come home from work and I'm like the Uber driver. So what pushed me into applying was that my coworker Jenny was in the first cohort, is in the first cohort of master counselors, and she just kept coming to work talking about all these cool opportunities that she had, and she was showing me, look what I learned, look what we did, look, this is the conversation we had, this is what we're working on, this is the product we're turning out, and then I got to meet some of the folks at NYSCA, and it's just such a passionate and interested and caring group of people, and the collaboration that happens, like that's what attracted me to it, and it's even better than I imagined, but that's what made me apply.
Yeah, and those hours, they sound intimidating at first, but like I was just on a call. I'm poaching a master counselor from another district for a position of ours, hopefully. And I asked her, she's in the the most recent cohort. I'm like, do you have all your hours? And she's like, oh, I have like 87. I'm like, yeah, me too. Like that 50 sounds intimidating, and you accumulate them so quickly because there's so many things you want to be a part of. And my favorite part of I'm part of the original cohort, but my favorite thing is the outcome, the products we produce. I'm one of those people where I go to training, I go to in-services, I get lots of professional development by my choice, but I want something tangible that I can go back to my district and do. And this program lets us do that.
Yes. So, these are the knowledge domains. I'm sure you guys have all, seen them on the Master Counselor page, but all of the work we do, is filtered into either career development, academic development, or social emotional development, which it's amazing the depth and breadth of things that we can cover that, fit into these three domains.
Yeah, and you get to pick the things that are of interest to you. That's the cool part.
Yes.
If you have a passion for one area more than another, that's totally fine.
That's true. I actually was reviewing my hours, and I think most of my hours this semester fall into social emotional. But that's kind of like where the kids have needed me at work. And so
Mhm.
that has just kind of worked out that way. So this is just kind of like an overview, I guess, of what the kind of the rhythm of the program. So I'm actually part of the newest cohort. I found out in December that I was accepted to the program, and my orientation was at the end of January. So our director just does an amazing job of, pulling us right in, and all the co-master counselors welcomed us with open arms. We're so excited to meet us and, bring us into all of their experiences. But it's not like, here you go, have at it. There's a fantastic orientation, talking about the expectations, teaching you all of the platforms that we use. There's a lot of collaboration, talking about interests. We do have monthly cohort meetings. So our director, Laura, facilitates monthly conversations to help plan for what's coming up, help us share out, what we've been working on. So that's a really nice opportunity for us to touch base. And the program overall is broken up into 2 semesters. So when we start the January to June semester, and the expectation is 25 hours. So, like I said, I started at the end of January, and I think, at the beginning of May, I'm over 20 hours already. And there's so much more I want to do. I'll probably end up hitting like 30 or 35 if I had to guess, by the end of June. Um, and one thing that will be probably a much bigger change for, the other cohorts than for me is starting in September, then next year, there will be a 10-hour in-person requirement. But I will say about that it's going to be very flexible. It can be just 2 people from the same region. It can sort of be a hybrid of a few people are together having a conversation, but also doing something online. So I'm actually not particularly concerned about the change. I don't know how you feel, Beth.
Yeah, I'm not either. We talked about it. We, in my region, we meet every other month for 2 hours on a Saturday morning. We just pick a restaurant and have breakfast together.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yes, it is a new requirement. Um, and so we were like, oh, there's our 10 hours right there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it is a new requirement, but now that we're growing and we have more people per region, it's a little more feasible for us to be able to get together. And that I like the Zoom part because you get to meet people from all over the state, but I like the in-person part because we kind of get into some nitty-gritty stuff that's specific to our region, and our districts. And so that part's like really cool too. So I don't think 10 hours is going to be an overwhelming ask.
No, no. And I'm pretty excited about it to start. We haven't met in person yet, at least this semester. So I'm excited to be able to start doing that.
Let's see, Heather asks if the Master Counselor orientation is in person. It has not so far been in person. It has been a Zoom session just because it's counselors, each cohort is about 25 counselors from all over the state. But we welcome you with open arms into your regions. So
All right. Am I good to move on, you
Mhm.
think? Okay.
There was another question. Is the new 10 hours in person for each year or each semester?
Year.
Each
Okay.
year.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be balanced. You can do 8 in person in the fall and 2 in the spring, or vice versa. It's just 10 hours for the year.
Yeah, so you have 50 hours total for the whole year that we basically divide 25 into the fall and 25 into the spring. So that 10 covers that as part of that 50. It's not in addition to it. And we
Oh, that's a
don't
good point.
usually do stuff over the summer unless we do like a book study or something.
Yes. Let's see. I think we might have touched on most of this already. Um, except for that sometimes we do get invited to master teacher regional events, which I have not unfortunately been able to take advantage of the few that have been down in my region. Um, but that is another very cool opportunity for collaboration. So when the master teachers do something that would overlap with, um, something that counselors would be doing, they will invite us to participate. Have you done any, Beth?
I've not done any, but I am super eager to, because I've just watched, the few other people that have, and I'm like, oh, that was so cool. I would have never thought of that. And I taught science before becoming a counselor, so I'm like kind of totally into it. So yeah. What happens at the end of your 4 years? Well, I know mine's going to be here before I know it. At the end of your 4 years, you become a master counselor emeritus, so you can still participate as much as you want to. You just don't get the stipend for it anymore. And if you're wondering, the stipend is pretty sweet. And it's crazy that we're just getting paid for professional development. Like they're paying us to be the best that we can be at our jobs. How competitive is the application process, and are there a limited number of spots? Yes, there are a limited number of spots. They tend to take about 25 per year across the state. And I would say that it is competitive. I don't know how many applicants there were the last round. But I do know they end up picking about 25.
Yeah, they didn't tell us how many were in the applicant pool. So I think I was happy to not know.
Yeah, I would have been really overwhelmed and intimidated had I known.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that either. I'm on the interview committee, but whatever.
The time period to apply is now. When is the deadline?
I want to say the 21st.
Yeah, I believe so.
Should have put
May
that in the
21st. There
slide.
you go. Thank you,
Yeah.
Katrina.
Kristen and Beth, I think it's important to add that while NISCA participates in the selection process, because Bob is on the selection committee, the decision is made by SUNY. It's not
Yes,
NISCA's decision.
that is true.
Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah.
That's important. Yep.
It is important to know. Is the interview through Zoom? Yes. So far they have been through Zoom. Bob, is that the anticipated for the next round? Do you know?
Yes, it's all online because people are all over the state.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of the I don't know, would you say a lot, Beth? I know there's at least a handful of master counselors that are also involved in NISCA volunteering in some way, shape, or form. But they are two distinct organizations, even though there's a bit of overlap.
We've
For
got
sure.
a lot of our volunteers and board members happen to be, master counselors, and I think kind of to be expected. I think if it's in your nature to do that kind of stuff, you'll do that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But our
Okay,
role,
Bob,
NISCA's role is to advertise it like we're doing tonight and to let people know how it works. That's really our role.
I definitely have missed some questions along the way. A bunch popped in all at once and I didn't catch them all.
How many years experience do you need to have as a school counselor?
I think
3? Isn't it 3 to apply?
it's either 3 or 5.
I'll say yeah.
I forget. It's
I'd have to
not
look it up.
a
Yeah.
ton.
Got some responses in the chat. I thought it
Yep.
was 4. I thought it was 5.
No,
I'm not 100% sure. I apologize.
I'm not either. I don't want to speak out of turn there.
Yeah. It is on the there's a in one of the last slides there is a link and to the requirements page. So I will pop that in the chat when we get to the end and I'm not sharing my screen anymore. And then everyone can go straight to the source and get the answer to that question. Are more questions coming in?
What
There
is-
is the
Go ahead.
praxis score range. There is one. I don't recall what it is, but you do have to take the praxis and pass it, I believe, is the requirement.
Yeah. That I do remember. It was a passing praxis score.
It's not nearly as intimidating as some people think it is if you've not taken it before. I mean, I'd been doing this for 30 years before I took it. And I mean, I haven't been in school for longer than that. And I took, it was not overwhelmingly difficult.
Yeah. For me, because I didn't say this at the beginning, but this is my 19th year in Northport and also my 19th year as a school counselor. So the trickiest questions for me were like the counseling theory that were out of my grad school textbooks, but there are very few questions. It's a very manageable exam. If you're up on the New York State, like requirements for school counseling programs and you're practicing school counselor, it's very doable.
Yeah, I remember there being like career counselor, career theory questions. And I was like, I have no idea who that person is, but you dissect the question and it was like, oh, that answer makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we have here? What are we enjoying the most and what surprised us the most? Well, I'm enjoying the collaboration the most. I love being with like-minded people who love to learn and love to create and problem solve and learn things. I'm not intimidated to learn things I didn't know about. I love it. And the networking is fantastic.
Yeah. I would echo that. And also that it's an organized space too for us to be able to come together. But I love everyone is so passionate and just the exchange of ideas, and it's everyone's just excited. That's the vibe, every response to something new is like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing. That's so great, and um the other thing I didn't mention is that we use Slack to communicate in between like PD and webinars and the meetings that we have. So, if you have a question, you also have just like instant access to 75 counselors that you can just post your question, and then people are so generous, like sharing resources, getting back to you right away. It's I don't know that that's my favorite part, but that's a really, really cool part also.
Yeah, it took a little bit to get used to using Slack because I hadn't used it before, and I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I love it. If you're not familiar with it, each topic is like a channel, and you just choose which ones you want to participate in, and then we just have dialogue within it, and you can just pop in questions or resources and things like that, and it's all right there. Amanda asked a question. Is there a cohort admitted once per year? Yes. Is there a way to start in January? I do not know the answer to that question. I do know that we do have an opportunity. Like some people have to take a leave of absence and that can be approved. I don't know if they allow starting partway through. And we do submit our APPR each year. Somebody asked about APPR.
Oh, yes. Yes. Any other questions? Okay, I think we hit on most of this, and I certainly don't want to be reading to everyone.
Right.
So I will move on. So the work that we do typically falls into, these four categories. Um, Professional learning teams are just groups of people that, have a long-term topic that they want to work on. And I would say the learning teams and the interest groups typically meet like, what would you say, like once a month?
Yeah, typically once a month.
Yeah. Collegial circle could be a one-time thing. I know some groups have done book studies. And then also our director will bring in, we didn't put mini courses on here, but we do have access to mini courses. Those are typically organized by our director, Laura. And I have another slide that'll kind of talk about all the different topics that have fallen into these
We
categories.
do workshops too, so it might be a
Oh, yeah.
one-time session on a specific topic. Lots of opportunities.
So these are the things that have been available to us this semester. And I think I've done everything except MTSS for counselors. um, and in my head when I was planning this, I thought maybe I'd like hit on a couple of highlights, but they were all just so interesting, and I got something really different out of all of them. So I don't know if anyone has any questions about like some of the specific stuff that you want us to talk about. Maybe I'll give.
Pick our topics. That's the cool part is,
Yeah.
our Laura finds things for us, but it's based on like things we're interested in. Like we did, when I first started, we did this really intensive play therapy thing. We've had authors of books that have come and worked with us. And, so again, you pick the ones that you're interested in. I missed the executive functioning one because of a conflict, and I missed the legal foundations. And there is a little bit of, for me, that fear of missing out kind of thing where I'm like, oh, I missed my first cohort meeting ever in 3 years.
Wow.
Last month. And I was just like, oh, I can't believe I missed that. What did I miss? I had to find out what I missed. So there's definitely a little bit of that, but then there's other things where you're kind of like, you know what, that doesn't really apply to me right now. And that's okay too.
Mm-hmm. Warning alarm. And there's opportunities too. So these are some of the things that happened in the fall before I joined. But like the chronic absenteeism course, that was a 2-session course, and we had like so much discussion that we felt like wanted to happen that we're going to do like a spin-off interest group and meet a couple of times before the year ends just to continue the conversation and maybe work together to set up some interventions that we can use with our students in September. So it's like Beth said, it's all things that we're interested in, and then if we want to run with something, we have the support to do it, and the people that share that interest will join. And there's always something really cool going on. So here's the link. Let me see if I can. I don't think I said I'd cut and paste it, but I don't think I can without losing the screen. There's one more virtual information session about the actual like requirements and application process. I don't know if the application process has changed since, we applied. So I would hesitate to answer questions about that. But I would highly recommend the information session. It was very helpful. I went to one before I applied.
Yeah, I did too. And they will answer a lot. There's several of the comments in the chat that are specific to the timeline and the process and what specific things, traits they're looking for. And they can answer those kinds of things for you in that info session. They do a really good job with it.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions like on what it's like just being a master counselor or things like that?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It sounds like the professional development that's created by master counselors is presented to each other, or is it presented externally? Is it
Um,
in-house? Yeah.
well, both. Most of it has been done in-house, but I just did a crisis roles and responsibilities of crisis team members training, and we opened it statewide, not only to counselors but to administrators,
Okay.
and so we had all sorts of people participate in that. So we've definitely opened the doors to others to have that access.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the topic.
Yeah.
My understanding, maybe it was just in my head, was that the master counselor program and the master teacher program was to create like a um, cohort, for lack of a better term, of experts around the state who could share what they knew with those who need information. That was my understanding.
Yeah, that's why we like presenting at NISCA.
Yeah, but there's lots of other ways to present too. There's a lot of
There,
local counseling associations and such.
yes, there are, and we are encouraged to participate in our local associations and share that those kinds of things. It was really fun doing that workshop last week and or maybe it was the week before, and having people from that there were a lot of administrators that attended that, and being able to share that information with them was really an awesome experience.
That's an interesting question in the chat from Chris, another Kristen. What is SUNY getting out of this? Why are they funding such a thing?
Benevolence. I think like the goal is it's like you said, it's for us to bring the information back to our districts, share it out with our departments, the other counselors that we work with, and then sort of have that, spread out to the families, and I've never been explicitly told this. So, Beth, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but, I think the state kind of finally is, understanding that there's a real, need for like a comprehensive counseling program. And that's why they changed the regs a few years ago. And the mental health needs of the kids is so much higher. And I think they're recognizing that. Um, and I suspect that it's just to fortify that aspect of education that, maybe um, really wasn't focused on appropriately before. Um, I mean, it's
And I think
costing them money
yeah,
to do
I
this.
think they find value in what we do too, and they're willing to invest in it. Any other questions?
So you had the link to the program as well as the upcoming, I think you said the 11th.
Yes.
Okay. Can we put that in the chat?
Sure. I'll let me stop.
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing.
Oh, look at all these people.
Okay. Oh
Hey,
yeah, look at all those people. I can see
awesome.
everybody now.
There's 33 of them.
That's
Fantastic.
awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming. I was someone who definitely needed like I don't know if I'd say push or reassurance or what that it was that it, that it was doable, So if you're on the fence about applying and your hesitation has anything to do with, like how does this fit into my life? Um, I can assure you that you will you will not only find a way, but that you will value it so much that any juggling that you have to do will be completely and totally worth it.
I like too that most of the sessions, whatever the ones you pick to go to, are typically like an hour or an hour and a half. So it's not like I'm giving up my entire Thursday night kind of thing. I might give up. I tend to do Mondays because I teach on Thursday nights, so might do 1 or 2 sessions on a Monday, or I didn't have any this whole week. So it really does. You can fit it into your schedule and your other activities that you participate in.
Yeah, definitely.
And we do it from all over the place. Any other master counselor will tell you, 90% of the time I am in my truck and my seatbelt is still on. And I have my notebook right there and I'm participating and I'm taking notes. And they're like, oh, what parking lot are you in tonight? And because that's just my life. And, and that's okay. It fits in. My truck is parked. I just didn't make it home. And that's okay.
So someone had asked about the timeline. I think I can talk about my timeline, but it's very different from this year's timeline. So when I applied, it was January of 2025. The applications were due at the end of the month. And then I was not told that I got invited to interview until May. My interview was in July, which was later than the cohort before me. And then when you actually find out is completely dependent on Governor Hochul signing off on the state budget. So I actually found out Christmas Eve of this past December 2025. So it was pretty close to a full year. That'll be condensed for sure this year because the applications opened and are closing so much later. So I have no idea what they're planning, but that was my timeline. But I guess definitely you'll know before the end of the calendar year.
Got a question. Will the presentation be shared afterwards? Can you send me a PDF of that presentation? I can get it out to attendees.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
And then Sylvia,
Yes.
feel free to jump in.
Yeah, because I don't want to feel like I'm having my spaz moment. I just wanted to know, like, if y'all could talk more about the process. Like, you put in your application in May, and so by this May 21st, do I have to have my application in? Do I have to be scheduled for the praxis? How do I get a hold of my, principals and my recommender and blah, 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 and all of that? And who can it be?
I would encourage you to go to that May 11th info session and ask them, because it's been different for each cohort. My process was a little bit different than Kristen's. So those are questions to ask at that cohort meeting. As far as who your recommenders can be, it is kind of open. I would be creative. I can tell you for myself, I had my building principal, a counselor colleague, and a classroom teacher that did mine. But it doesn't specify at least when I did it, they didn't specify exactly who it had to be. There's something like you have to have an administrator. There's a piece for them. And
does it have to be a current administrator? Because I've worked for some really great people and I've worked for some really not great people, and I really would prefer not to ask my current principal, because my current principal is checked out. He's literally counting the days until he retires.
I would ask on the 11th if they want a current administrator or not. I don't want to speak to them.
And I'm also a doctoral student. Can I get a recommendation from one of my professors?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely go on the 11th, if at all possible. Go on the 11th and hit them up with all your questions. Write them down and just pop them off to them.
Thank
And
If I
you.
I'm
if I
on the master
may,
teach.
on
Oh,
the
sure.
website, they're very clear on who you should ask for a recommendation. It's all on the website.
Okay. I'm looking for the sign up. I'm looking for the registration for that May 11th.
They've got a dedicated email too that I just put in the chat
Oh,
that
great. Thank you.
probably goes to Laura Sprague. Um,
Yeah, or
they keep,
Josephine.
okay.
Do I need a Praxis score prior to applying, or can I have signed up for the Praxis and have an upcoming date that's after the 21st of May?
I can't answer that. I
Okay.
truly don't know. It's hard for us because it's, the program is so new. I mean, we just have 3 cohorts, and the process has been a little bit different for each cohort. So it's hard to speak to what they're doing now compared to what maybe happened in the first cohort. So that's why those info sessions are so important, because it is the people in charge who will run that info session.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Laura actually asked us to try to avoid getting into like nuts and bolts of the how to, just because it's different from when we did it, like Beth said.
Yeah, we don't want to misinform you.
Exactly. The last thing I would want to do is steer you wrong.
And somebody just put a link in there. That's perfect.
Oh, thanks. Someone found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But being a master counselor is a great way to not become stagnant. And that was like a concern I had. Like, I'm thinking, okay, I've been doing this for 34 years. Like, I never wanted to become stuck in a rut or feel stagnant in what I was doing. And this has been a great way for that not to happen. I'm always energized and invigorated, and I'm always thinking about how could I do this different? We've done some AI stuff, and I've been like, Jenny and I both have been like running with it. My timeline for my upcoming seniors, I learned how to make that all into an infographic instead of this list. Like, it looks totally cool. And, you learn just practical things that you can turn right around and use.
Mm-hmm.
And share with each other and others.
There's a couple questions in the chat. Yes, you'll get a certificate of attendance completion tomorrow or Friday. There's a lot of good links. I'm going to send you a copy of the chats too, because there's a lot of good links in it in regard to there's an FAQ that Mrs. Enriquez put in she said it answers all your questions. So go to the website, go to the thing on May 11th, and I think you'll be hooked up. But we'll send all that stuff. We'll send the information out tomorrow. Kristen just put something up as well. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that last link is the document that has the information about the info sessions. So,
beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, I just found that, and the link to register for that May 11th info session is in that doc that I just linked. So, links in the link.
Links to go with links. Oh, I see. You've already had a couple.
Yes. But it's interesting because I didn't realize that the application opened till it opened, so kind of didn't occur to me to do this until there was a deadline. So hopefully you guys all make the deadline. Hopefully we talked you into it. Hopefully we'll see, trying to remember some names. Hopefully we'll see you guys in some future meetings and PDs and stuff.
Hey, Bob, I just want to say hello. I met you my first year at
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember you, Mark.
Okay, good.
We worked in the same district. Cool. So thank you for attending our webinar this evening regarding the Master Counselor Program. We hope you got some of your questions answers questions. We'll be sending out materials tomorrow, including a link to this recording.
Hey, what's up?
And
Just give me like 2 minutes because they're wrapping up this
so
webinar.
we'll be looking for your emails in regard to future events we're having. One of the popular ones we do every year is coming up on May 21st. It has to do with graduation requirements, and we always get hundreds and hundreds of people who attend it. So information will be coming out soon for that. We also have one on May 18th regarding how Alzheimer's is affecting our community. So that one's on the 18th, and many more. So be looking for your email. But again, thank you for coming tonight, and we'd like to invite you to our membership meeting starting in 12 minutes if you'd like to attend. So have a good evening. Thank
All
you,
right.
Beth and Kristen.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting
Thanks for
and being
having
here
us.
and supporting us. And I'll see you in 12 minutes.
Is there a link to the membership meeting? Did you put that in the chat too?
I had the QR up on the screen. I can
Yeah.
Give me a
pop that
second.
back up real quick. You got it, Bob?
Yeah,
Okay.
somewhere. Too many emails. Nancy, do you got it?
I have it. I have it handy too.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, that's the registering.
Oh, wait, I got it right here. Zoom, my meetings. Here we go. Here we go. So we'll leave it up for a couple minutes, and maybe we'll see some of you in 11 minutes.
Hey, Kristen, do you know, is this loggable for us?
Yes.
It is loggable under recruitment?
Yes.